Hello YouTube and welcome to the next video in the route learning series for Train Simulator. In this video we're going to be driving along the Just Trains Bristol to Avonmouth route, and we're going to be driving on the Severn Beach branch from Severn Beach to Bristol Temple Meads, a distance of around 13.5 miles. We will be calling at Avonmouth, Shirehampton, Sea Mills, Clifton Down, Redland, Stapleton Road, Lawrence Hill and Bristol Temple Meads. The journey time should be about 35 to 40 minutes, and our attraction for the journey today is a First Great Western Class 150. Once in the cab of the Class 150, the first thing that we need to do is to put in the master key. We'll then move the reversing handle to the forward position and reset the AWS self-test sequence. After that, we will then turn off the driver reminder appliance. We'll put the headlights into day mode, turn on the instrument lights and the marker lights, turn off the tail lights and turn on the destination indicator. Now I'll open the windows just because I prefer to drive with the windows open, as you can hear more. And now I'll open the doors. The next thing that we need to do is change the destination marker, so if you hold F8 you can see it scrolling on the front there, and we'll change that to Bristol Temple Meads. And now we're ready to depart once the doors are closed. Departing from Severn Beach, the starting speed limit is 50 miles per hour, and we've got around 4.5 miles to go to the next stop, which is Avonmouth. As we reach 50 miles per hour, I'm going to shut off power and then go back up to step 2. You can see that we're now losing just a little bit of speed, so I'm going to go into step 3 power, which will cause us to accelerate. Unfortunately, there's no easy power setting to maintain 50 miles per hour, so we'll either be accelerating or decelerating. Therefore, I'm just going to keep jumping between step 2 and 3 power to try and keep it around 50 miles per hour. As we approach this signal just coming up, we're now 3/4 of a mile from the next speed limit, which is a drop to 30 miles per hour. As we approach the overhead gantries that go over the track, I'm now going to shut off power. I'm going to brake at step 1 at the second gantry, which should slow us down about right for the 30 mile per hour speed limit. Going up to step 2 braking, as we're not slowing down quite as quick as I was expecting. The speed limit is now 30 miles per hour, and we're now going through St Andrews Road Station. We've got 1 mile to go to our stop, which is Avonmouth. As you can see, I am coasting at 30 miles per hour. I will increase the power if necessary if we slow down too much. Coming up shortly, the speed limit will drop down to 15 miles per hour. You can just about see the board in the distance. I'm now going to brake step 1 for the 15 mile per hour speed limit. I'm now going to allow the train to coast all the way into Avonmouth station. You can now see the platform at Avonmouth just coming up. And we need to stop at this end of the platform, as this is where the entrance to the station is. So we need to stop just at the end of the roof here. I'm going to use step 1 braking and gradually bring our speed down. Just as we pass the platform sign just here, this is about the correct stopping point. Departing Avonmouth, the starting speed limit is 30 miles per hour, and we've got about 1.5 miles to go to the next stop, which is Shirehampton. As we reach 30 miles per hour, I'm going to shut off power and let the train coast. And we should now be able to coast until we're able to accelerate further. The speed limit has now gone up to 50 miles per hour. I'm now going to apply full power to accelerate up towards the speed limit. However, I will shut off power at around 40 to 45 miles per hour. As we approach the left-hand curve just coming up, I'm shutting off power and I will apply the brakes just as we're entering the curve. Now see the platform just coming up, and we do need to stop at this end of, well, in the middle of the platform, but closer to this end. So we're going to stop just at the platform sign just coming up on the left. As this lamppost disappears, this is the perfect stopping point. Departing Shirehampton, the starting speed limit is 50 miles per hour, and we've got about 1.5 miles to go to the next stop, which is Sea Mills. As we reach 50 miles per hour, I'm going to shut off power and temporarily coast. If we lose too much speed, I will reapply a little bit of power. can now see a bright red sign just coming up which says the word diner on it. As we pass that, I'm going to apply the brakes, and you can just see the station just coming up ahead. Again, the stopping point is at this end of the platform, and we want to stop just by the next lamppost just coming up. Departing from Sea Mills, the starting speed limit is 50 miles per hour, and we've got around 2 miles to go to the next stop, which is Clifton Down. As we reach 50 miles per hour, I'm once again going to shut off power and allow the train to coast, and we'll reapply power if we lose too much speed. This tunnel is just over a mile long, I believe, and our next stop is just at the other end of this tunnel. Firstly, there will be a steep uphill gradient of 1 in 46 as we approach the end of this tunnel, and then as we come out the tunnel, the speed limit will drop to 25 miles per hour as we go over some points, and then just after that the station will come up. We're now starting to go uphill, so we're starting to lose speed at a reasonable rate on the hill. We will apply light braking just at the end of the tunnel if we're not quite down to the 25 mile per hour speed limit coming up. So as you can see, I just used a 1 second step 1 brake application just to make sure that all the speed had come off. And here is Clifton Down station. The stopping point is at this end of the platform. I'm not sure of an exact stop marker, so it's a bit of a guess. So I'm going to aim to stop around here. Departing Clifton Down, the starting speed limit is 25 miles per hour, and we've got just over half a mile to go to the next stop, which is Redland. As we reach 25 miles per hour, I'm now going to shut off power and coast. The speed limit will shortly be going up to 30 miles per hour, but we'll barely get up to that before we've got to put on the brakes for Redland Station. As you can see, the speed limit is now going up to 30 miles per hour, but I'm not going to bother to accelerate, as you can actually just see the platform at Redland coming up. As we come into Redland again, the stopping point is at this end of the platform, just not far beyond the roof. So if we aim to stop around here, we should be stopped in about the right place. Departing Redland, the starting speed limit is 30 miles an hour, and we've got about half a mile to go to the next stop, which is Montpelier. Again, as we reach 30 miles per hour, I'm going to shut off power now and let the train coast. We will shortly be needing to brake for Montpelier Station. We know we're approaching Montpelier Station when we reach the car park and houses on the right with the cars there. You can now see the platform coming up, and I'm making a step 2 brake application. This is one of those platforms where if you don't quite stop in the right place, Railworks won't let you open the doors, which is slightly irritating. So we have to stop slightly further up the platform than really we need to. Just as we reach under this footbridge, we now know that we can open the doors. Departing Montpelier, the starting speed limit is 30 miles per hour, and we've got about 1¼ miles to go to the next stop, which is Stapleton Road. As we reach 25 miles per hour, I'm going to shut off power, as in this tunnel we actually start going downhill on a gradient of 1 in 61, which will mean that the train will gather speed in idle power. I will use the brakes on the downhill bit as required, just to ensure that we don't break the 30 mile per hour speed limit. So as you can see, I'm just fanning the brakes from 0 to step 1, just to ensure we don't break the speed limit. And on this right hand curve here, the gradient actually gets to a much more level down in 1 in 489. As we reach this signal just here, the speed limit now drops to 25 miles per hour as we join the main line here, which is the Bristol to Gloucester main line. As we join the main line, the gradient starts going downhill again at 1 in 75, which is why I've slowed down to just over 20 miles per hour to allow the train to coast back up a little. And the next stop isn't too far from here. As we cross over onto the main line, the speed limit is now 75 miles per hour, however we won't be able to get to that before we reach Bristol. You can now see the stop at Stapleton Road just coming up, and we're actually going downhill into the station, which means we may need a harder brake application than normal. And we need to stop just before the footbridge here. Departing Stapleton Road, the starting speed limit is 75 miles per hour, and we've got around 2/3 of a mile to go to the next stop, which is Lawrence Hill. As we approach 40 miles per hour, I'm now going to shut off power and allow the train to coast. And we need to brake at the second overbridge here, which is the final bridge just before the station. You can see the platform just coming up now. The stopping point here at Lawrence Hill is right at the end of the platform. Departing from Lawrence Hill, the starting speed limit is 75 miles per hour, though that quickly goes down to 40. And we've got just under a mile to go to the final stop, which is Bristol Temple Meads. As you can see, the speed limit has now dropped to 40 miles per hour. And I'm going to shut off power now at just around 30 miles per hour and coast. There will be a speed reduction shortly down to 25 miles per hour. We will brake for that as we see the board. We can now see the 25 board just coming up. So I'm just applying the brakes to slow down for that. We'll now coast at 25 miles per hour towards Bristol Temple Meads station. As you can see, our single yellow signal for some reason just turned to red right in front of us, which is why I've just had to apply the brakes rather hard. In real life, if that happens, the driver would have to do an emergency stop and report it to the signalman. Now we've stopped here, I will request permission to pass the signal. And we have been granted permission. So I'm now cleared to go into Bristol Temple Meads platform. I'm really not sure why the signal decided to jump to red. As we reach 20 miles per hour, I will now shut off power to let the train coast, and we want to slow down to about 10 miles per hour entering the platform here. As we now stop here, I'm going to put the headlights to off, I'm going to switch off the marker lights, and I'm going to turn on the tail lights. Turn on the driver reminder appliance, turn the reverser to off, and open the doors. Thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the video.